Imagine standing at the edge of time itself, staring into the unknown. The question that has haunted humanity for generations presses on your heart. What happens next? Is this life all there is? Or is there something beyond the final breath? People have searched for the answer in science, in wealth, in power, seeking ways to escape the limits of time. But no empire, no discovery, no fortune has ever defeated death. The greatest minds have wrestled with this mystery, yet the answer has been before us all along. What if I told you that the key to living forever is not hidden in some distant secret, but within reach? Not something to be earned or unlocked, but something freely given. There is a way to defeat death, to step beyond the grave into eternity, and it does not depend on human strength. It is not found in the things that fade away, but in something greater, something eternal. Today I want to tell you about the greatest truth ever known, the truth that offers life beyond death, hope beyond despair, and a promise that stands unshaken through the storms of life. This is not just about how to live longer. It is about how to live forever. Our physical bodies are bound by time. From the moment we are born, we begin the journey toward the inevitable. The strength of youth fades, the vigor of life diminishes, and one day, no matter how strong or wealthy or wise a person may be, their body will give in to the forces of time. Science may extend life for a season. Medicine may preserve health for a while, but nothing can prevent the reality of death. It is the one certainty that all humanity must face. Yet deep within, we know there is more. Something within the human heart whispers that we were not made merely for a few fleeting years on this earth. There is an instinct, an unshakable feeling that life does not simply end when the body perishes. The love we share, the memories we make, the lessons we learn, could they all truly vanish into nothingness? It seems impossible to accept that the depth of human experience would be reduced to a mere breath that disappears like morning mist. Throughout history, civilizations and cultures have wrestled with the idea of life beyond the physical. From the ancient Egyptians, who built pyramids to house the souls of their departed, to philosophers who pondered the nature of existence, there has always been a deep-rooted belief that we do not simply cease to exist. Even in our modern world, where science and technology dominate, people still long for something more, something beyond what their eyes can see and their hands can touch. That longing is not an accident. It is not merely a trick of the mind or a product of wishful thinking. It is the echo of eternity placed within every soul. Our bodies are temporary, but our spirits are not. The very fact that we long for more is evidence that there is more. A temporary being does not crave the eternal unless it was meant for something beyond time. Consider the relationships we cherish. Love is not something we can measure or define in purely physical terms. We feel it in our hearts, in the depths of our souls. A parent looks at their child and knows beyond all doubt that their bond is not something that can simply disappear with death. A husband and wife who have walked together through years of joys and trials cannot believe that their love simply fades into nothing. The deepest emotions, the strongest connections, all point to something greater than this world. They point to the eternal. Even in moments of suffering, we see glimpses of eternity. When people endure hardship and still hold on to hope, when they face pain and yet refuse to let go of faith, they are testifying to something beyond this life. If existence were merely physical, why would the human spirit fight so hard against despair? Why would people cling to hope, even when all earthly evidence says they should give up? It is because there is a truth that goes beyond what we see. The soul knows that. It was not created to be extinguished. But if the soul is eternal, the question arises, where does it go when the body is gone? That is the question each person must face. The idea of eternity is not simply about existing forever. It is about where and how we exist. Just as a traveler must choose a destination, so too must we decide what path we will follow beyond this life. Our time on earth is not meaningless. It is preparation for what comes after. Eternity is not a vague concept or a distant dream. It is as real as the breath in our lungs and the thoughts in our minds. It is the ultimate reality waiting just beyond the limits of our sight. The body may return to dust, but the soul lives on. And what we do in this life matters for what comes next. Humanity has always longed for immortality. From ancient myths to modern science, people have sought ways to escape death, to push back against the limits of time. The pursuit of longevity has led to incredible advancements. Medicine that extends life, technology that preserves memories, and even theories about transferring human consciousness into machines. Yet, despite these efforts, one truth remains unchanged, no matter how much we fight against it. Death is inevitable. The illusion of earthly immortality is seductive. It tells us that if we just stay healthy enough, if we find the right cure, if we amass enough wealth to afford the best care, we can live forever. It promises that through fame, achievements, or even digital footprints, we can leave a lasting mark that will never fade. But history tells a different story. The greatest empires have crumbled, the most powerful rulers have turned to dust, and even the names of those once celebrated have been forgotten. The sands of time erase even the deepest footprints. Some believe that scientific breakthroughs will one day conquer death. They place their faith in medicine, genetic engineering, and artificial intelligence, hoping that technology will grant them endless years. But even as medicine advances, bodies still age, cells break down, organs wear out, and no amount of human effort can halt the irreversible march of time. We may slow the process, but we cannot stop it. The world changes. New generations rise, and those who once seemed immortal in their prime are eventually replaced. Even fame, which many chase as a form of immortality, is fleeting. People spend their lives building legacies, hoping their names will be remembered for centuries. Yet, how many names from history do we truly recall? The vast majority of those who once held power and influence are now lost to time. The writers, the rulers, the warriors of old, they were known in their day, yet now only a few remain in textbooks, and even those are reduced to mere facts rather than living legacies. If immortality were found in fame, then the countless forgotten lives of once great men and women prove that it is an unreliable path. Then there is the pursuit of wealth, another way people try to achieve a form of permanence. Some believe that by accumulating riches they can secure their future indefinitely. They build mansions, buy land, and invest in businesses, thinking that these things will outlast them. But wealth does not follow anyone beyond the grave. The richest men of the past lie in the same earth as the poorest beggars. What was once carefully gathered is passed on to others, often squandered or lost within a generation. Money can buy luxury, but it cannot purchase eternity. Some turn to their accomplishments, believing that by creating something meaningful, they can live on. Artists paint masterpieces, authors write books, leaders shape nations. While their work may endure for a time, even the greatest creations eventually fade. Buildings collapse, books fall out of print, and cultures shift, leaving once revered works forgotten. What is considered great today may be irrelevant tomorrow. The truth is, no matter how much we seek to outlive our own mortality through science, fame, wealth, or legacy, every human effort to escape death ultimately fails. The illusion of earthly immortality blinds people to a deeper reality, one that cannot be found in the things of this world. Our desire to live forever is not misplaced, but we often seek it in the wrong places. Instead of looking beyond, we grasp at shadows, hoping they will solidify into something lasting. But the physical world was never meant to offer eternal life. It is temporary by design. What we see around us, no matter how grand or powerful, is destined to pass away. The answer to the longing for eternity does not lie in the things that perish, but in something beyond what human hands can create. Faith is one of the most powerful forces in human existence. It shapes lives, guides decisions, and provides hope in the darkest times. When it comes to the question of living forever, faith is not just a comforting idea, but the key to unlocking a reality beyond death. People search for immortality in science, wealth, or achievements, but these things are temporary. Faith, however, offers something different. It does not seek to extend life on earth, but to grant life beyond it. From the beginning of time, humanity has recognized that life is more than just physical existence. There is an awareness deep within every soul that something greater exists beyond what the eyes can see. This sense of the eternal is not something taught or inherited. It is woven into the fabric of human nature. No matter how much society focuses on the material world, people still long for answers about what happens after death. That longing is a sign that faith is not just an idea, it is a necessity. Faith is different from knowledge. Knowledge is based on what can be seen, measured, and proven, but faith reaches beyond that. It is the trust in things unseen, the belief in promises that have yet to be fulfilled. Some may argue that faith is irrational, that it is nothing more than wishful thinking. But in reality, faith is one of the most rational responses to the human condition. Every person exercises faith daily, whether in relationships, in the future, or in the very structure of the world. No one sees tomorrow before it arrives, yet people make plans with confidence that it will come. No one can guarantee that the next breath will be taken, yet each breath is drawn without fear. In the search for eternal life, faith is essential because it acknowledges that life does not come from human effort alone. No amount of work, knowledge, or power can create eternity. Faith shifts the focus from human limitations to divine possibilities. It recognizes that while the body is fragile, the soul is not bound by physical laws. Faith sees beyond the present moment and looks toward a future that is secure, not because of human strength, but because of a greater promise. Faith is also transformative. It does not merely offer the hope of living forever. It changes the way life is lived now. When a person truly believes in something greater than themselves, their priorities shift. They begin to see life through a different lens, one that values love over selfishness, purpose over emptiness, and truth over deception. Faith is not just a belief. It is a way of life. It gives meaning to suffering, direction in uncertainty, and peace in the face of death. The strongest evidence of faith's power is seen in those who have faced death without fear. Throughout history, countless individuals have held on to their faith, even in the most desperate circumstances. They faced persecution, pain, and loss, yet they remained steadfast. What gave them such strength? It was not the hope of earthly success, but the assurance of something greater beyond this world. This is the essence of faith. It does not ignore reality, but sees a deeper truth beyond it. It does not deny the presence of death, but declares that death is not the end. The world offers many paths to prolong life, but faith offers something no earthly power can provide: the certainty of eternity. It is an invitation not just to believe, but to live with the assurance that life does not end when the body fails. Faith is not merely about trusting in something. It is about trusting in the one who holds eternity itself. Grace is one of the most powerful and life-changing truths in the universe. It is the idea that eternal life is not something that can be earned, bought, or achieved through human effort, but is instead a gift freely given. Many people believe that if they do enough good, follow enough rules, or live a morally upright life, they can secure a place beyond death. They measure their worth by their actions, hoping that their good deeds will outweigh their bad. But true grace teaches something entirely different. It is not about what a person does, but about what has already been done for them. Human nature resists this idea. From childhood, people are taught that success comes from effort, that rewards must be earned, and that nothing in life is truly free. In many ways, this is a necessary part of life on earth. Hard work, discipline, and perseverance are valuable and lead to great achievements. But when it comes to eternity, no amount of effort can reach the standard required for true, everlasting life. People fall short, no matter how hard they try. Even the most disciplined person has moments of failure, weakness, and imperfection. If eternal life depended on human performance, no one would ever qualify. Grace changes everything because it removes the burden of earning something that is impossible to earn. It is the idea that love is not conditional, that forgiveness is not reserved for the perfect, and that the doors of eternity are open to anyone who is willing to receive. It is not based on merit, and it does not discriminate based on status, background, or past mistakes. Grace reaches the lowest places, offering hope to the broken, the weary, and those who believe they are beyond redemption. Many struggle to accept grace because it seems too simple. They feel as if they must contribute something, as if they must prove they are worthy. But grace does not work that way. It is not given because someone deserves it. It is given because of love. It is a gift, not a transaction. A person who receives a gift does not ask, "How much do I owe you?" They simply accept it with gratitude. That is how grace works. It does not require payment because the price has already been paid. Grace also transforms the way a person lives. It does not encourage carelessness or a life without purpose. Instead, it inspires love, gratitude, and a desire to live differently. When someone truly understands grace, they do not see it as an excuse to continue living without thought for eternity. Instead, they are changed by it. They realize that they are no longer striving for acceptance, but living from a place of acceptance. This shift changes everything. It replaces fear with confidence, anxiety with peace, and striving with rest. One of the greatest barriers to grace is pride. People want to believe that they can achieve eternal life on their own, that they can earn their way in by being good enough. But this mindset misses the entire point. If eternal life could be earned, it would no longer be a gift, it would be a wage. But grace does not operate on a system of wages. It operates on the foundation of love. It requires humility to accept, the willingness to admit that no amount of personal effort can bridge the gap between this life and the next. Grace is available to everyone, yet not everyone receives it. Some reject it, believing they must create their own way. Others ignore it, thinking they have more time to figure things out. But grace remains, waiting to be received. It does not force itself upon anyone, but it never turns away those who seek it. It is the greatest invitation ever given, the chance to live forever, not by effort, but by the power of love freely given. Love is the greatest force in the universe. It is more powerful than fear, stronger than death, and deeper than any human understanding. Love is what gives life meaning, what connects people across time and space, and what reveals the very purpose of existence. Throughout history, people have sought to understand love, to define it, to grasp its essence. Yet it remains a mystery beyond full comprehension. It is both simple and profound, both familiar and infinite. Love is not just an emotion or a feeling. It is the very foundation of eternity. People spend their lives searching for love, believing that if they can just find the right person, the right relationship, or the right experience, they will be complete. But human love, as wonderful as it is only a reflection of something greater. It is limited, imperfect, and often fragile. People fail each other, disappoint one another, and sometimes even break the ones they love most. No matter how deep or strong human love may seem, it is always incomplete because it exists within the limitations of this world. True eternal love is different. It is not based on emotions that rise and fall, or on conditions that must be met. It is not something that can be earned or lost. This love does not change with time, nor is it dependent on human actions. It is the kind of love that remains steady even when everything else falls apart. It is the kind of love that reaches into the darkest places, that heals the deepest wounds, and that offers hope when all seems lost. This love is not merely an idea or an ideal. It is a reality, an unstoppable force that has no end. Love is the reason that eternity exists. It is the reason that life continues beyond the grave, the reason that people are not left to perish in nothingness. Love does not allow death to have the final say. It does not allow pain to be the conclusion of the story. Instead, love offers something greater, an existence beyond this life, a home that cannot be taken away, and a future that is secure. Love is the key to immortality because it is the one thing that lasts forever. Everything in this world fades. Wealth is lost, power shifts, beauty diminishes, and achievements are forgotten. But love remains. It is the one thing that cannot be destroyed, the one thing that carries on even when all else fails. When people pass from this life, their love does not disappear. It continues in the hearts of those who remain, in the lives they have touched, in the ways they have given of themselves. Love cannot be buried because it does not belong to the realm of death. It is eternal by its very nature. Love changes the way a person lives. When someone truly understands the depth of love, they are no longer consumed by fear. They do not chase after things that will not last, nor do they live in anxiety about the future. Instead, they walk in confidence, knowing that they are held by something far greater than themselves. They begin to see others differently, to treat them with kindness, to extend grace where it is undeserved, and to forgive where they once held bitterness. Love does not just prepare a person for eternity, it transforms them in the present. The greatest acts of history were not born from power or wealth, but from love. People have sacrificed everything for love, given their lives for the sake of others, endured suffering so that someone else might have hope. These moments are glimpses of eternity, proof that love is not bound by time or space. Love is not just a part of life, it is the reason for life itself. It is the force that makes forever possible. Hope is the anchor of the soul, the light that shines in the darkest moments, and the force that gives people the strength to keep moving forward. It is more than a wish or a fleeting desire. It is the deep assurance that there is something greater beyond what the eyes can see. Hope is what allows people to endure suffering, to rise above despair, and to look beyond the limitations of this world. It is the promise that no matter how difficult life may be, there is a future that cannot be taken away. People often place their hope in things that seem secure: money, success, relationships, or even their own abilities. But these things are fragile. They can be lost in an instant, leaving those who depend on them feeling empty and directionless. Wealth can disappear overnight. Health can fail unexpectedly. And even the strongest relationships can change. When hope is placed in temporary things, it is always at risk. But true hope is not dependent on circumstances. It is not shaken by loss, not destroyed by hardship, and not diminished by the passing of time. Throughout history, people have endured incredible suffering, yet those with true hope have remained unshaken. Hope does not remove pain, but it gives meaning to it. It does not erase difficulties, but it provides the strength to face them. Those who have lived with unshakable hope have faced persecution, loss, and even death without fear. They understood that their hope was not in this world, but in something greater. This kind of hope is not found in human strength. It is given by something beyond human control. Hope is what makes it possible to look at life with a different perspective. When a person knows that their future is secure, they are not bound by fear. They do not live in anxiety, nor are they controlled by the troubles of the present moment. Instead, they walk with confidence, knowing that no struggle is final, no pain is permanent, and no loss is the end of the story. Hope does not ignore reality, it simply sees beyond it. It acknowledges the hardships of life, but refuses to be defined by them. Hope is also contagious. A single person filled with hope can inspire an entire community. Those who carry hope within them bring light to others, reminding them that no matter how dark the night may seem, the morning will come. History is filled with stories of people who endured unimaginable trials, yet because they held on to hope, they were able to encourage others. Their faith in a greater future gave strength to those around them. Hope does not exist in isolation. It spreads, lifting others up and reminding them of what is possible. Many people search for hope in places that cannot provide it. They chase after temporary pleasures, believing that happiness will bring lasting satisfaction. But happiness is fragile, easily disrupted by the smallest change in circumstances. Hope, on the other hand, is constant. It does not waver based on emotions or external conditions. It is not dependent on wealth, health, or success. True hope remains unshaken because it is not rooted in this world, but in something eternal. Without hope, life becomes a struggle without purpose. But when a person has hope, they can endure anything. They can face loss with peace, walk through trials with courage, and look toward the future with confidence. Hope gives people the ability to stand firm when everything else falls apart. It is not just a feeling, it is a promise that there is something more, something that cannot be destroyed by time or circumstance. Those who hold on to hope do not live in fear because they know that their future is secure. Life is fleeting, a vapor that appears for a moment and then is gone. The world tells us to chase after wealth, power, and success, yet none of these things can outrun time. But there is something greater, something that does not fade, something that offers a future beyond the grave. The path to eternity is not found in human effort, but in grace. It is not earned through achievements, but received through faith. It is grounded in love, the greatest force in existence, and secured by a hope that cannot be shaken.